Hello everyone, this is Lucas, and today I wanted to discuss the ASDFS made in China 8-wick kerosene burner stove. And I got this one for about 30 bucks on Amazon, delivered Canadian. And I must say that this is one of the most amazing things I've ever played with, but also one of the most confusing and dangerous because it comes with very limited instructions from China. And it even said, I think, that you could use this thing inside. Don't use this thing inside at all. It's pretty dangerous, and I like to keep mine next to the snowbank in case something goes wrong. But once you get this thing working, I can tell you it's amazing. It works just really amazing. And in my own lingo, I dub it the Chinese microwave because this thing is way more versatile than an American microwave. And in an survival situation, I'd choose this over an American microwave any day, despite its shortcomings and tricks and quirks, which I'm going to go through with you today if you're in the English speaking world. Imagine if you live in Asia, you've probably seen things like this all over the place where kerosene is still used a lot. But here in Canada, we don't use this rarely at all. And using this inside could potentially cause somebody a lot of harm. So I wanted to go through all the pitfalls and everything that I've gone through with this. And don't try this at home. Don't try this at home and use something like this at home unless you have good training and all this other kind of stuff. But I mean, I use stuff like this all the time. So what we're going to go through is the first thing you're probably going to notice is you get this thing when you unbox your 8-wick burner. And what this is this is your lighting strip attached to your filler cap. And the filler cap isn't even threaded or anything. It just goes on there. It just sits on top. At least mine is anyways. And you're supposed to separate your lighting stick from the filler cap, but I kept my lighting stick on the filler cap so that you can jam the filler cap down in there and it doesn't come out. You don't lose it, right? Otherwise, this just sits on top loose. This is something you want to keep on a level surface, and you want to keep it there the whole time, from the time you light it to the time you put it out, because it does have a little bit of, it has a couple issues, right? The second thing you're probably going to notice is you think somebody ripped you off and this bottom plate is all skewed and beat up and bent. And what I mean by bottom plate is, hold on, I got to put the wicks down. But you see that silver plate at the bottom there? That it's bent. It's not straight all the way around. It's not supposed to be straight. The bottom tubes that hold the wicks are supposed to drag on the inside tubes of the main burner body. And what that does is that causes friction so that when you raise the wicks stay where they are according to the friction against the tube walls of one tube riding in the other. So the more of these tubes that just kind of sort of get jammed into there and scrape against the walls, the better this will be at keeping its height. So this bottom piece down here, you don't want it straight. You want it staggered and a little bit beat up, and don't be afraid to bend it if yours is falling right back down when you adjust the height of your wicks. Okay? So now that we got our wicks working properly, and you'll have to mess with the height of your wicks, like pull them and kind of adjust them and everything, and make sure that this burner mechanism works with the wicks up and down before you go and light it. Okay? Don't be afraid to bend that little plate a little bit, and it should be bent when you get it. So now I'm going to light it. And what you're going to do is you don't have to light every one. You can just light one, but if you're successful in putting things together, you'll be okay. Oh, wait, I can't light it yet. First thing I do, is you put the centerpiece in. That's what I do. So you put your wicks down, and you put your centerpiece in. Okay? Then you put your wicks up. I'm doing this and recording it at the same time, so. Then you take your match and you light every second wick. You don't even have to light every second wick. 3 wicks like that will do it. And then you bring it down so that those wicks are just burning a little bit. Then you take your outside piece and put it on. Now this outside piece here, and you can see I got a little bit of smoldering there, and if I turn it up, the smoldering gets better, and I leave it about like that. If you see this outside piece on this one here, it has a hole in it. I put that hole in it on purpose, and that hole is able to help me when it comes to extinguishing this thing, because it doesn't always extinguish properly. And you could make an extinguishing can or a bunch of other things for it, and I'm sure that that would work, but I put that hole in the side of this piece in order to be able to grab it better when it's hot. Okay, so now that I got our burner going here, I got the last little bezel I put on the top here, and you'll notice that I'm doing this while it's going. Well, you got to be quick, right? And you got to not put your hand in the flame, right? So that's on there. That's not hot yet. It's starting to heat up a little bit. Now I put my top on it, okay? And as you can see, it's starting to go, and then it will work its way around the wicks itself, the flame, because as the burner itself gets hot, it's going to want to change the kerosene in those wicks to gas, and they'll self-ignite by the gas as the heat slowly goes around the burner. So you don't have to light all the wicks, you just have to light a couple. I like to light 3 because when I'm putting it together in the very beginning, sometimes one wick will fail. If you're good with just lighting one wick, you have one wick that you like to light over and over and over again. I find that sometimes I get that. Then that's the way I go that way. But like I said, it's got a lot to do with how the tubes ride in the tube body of the burner, and as your wicks get burned down, that is something that you're going to have to adjust throughout the lifespan of this stove. Now, I've had this thing quite a long time. I've burned a big jug of kerosene through it already, and I still have plenty of wicks left. Like, I've barely used the wicks that the pieces that I originally pulled out are still mostly what I'm using today. And okay, see, now as you can see, we got a uniform flame is all the way around. You see how it's creeped all the way around? So I can turn it down a little bit now. Okay, and you can see that. I don't know if you can see the flame is just there. And I got my little container of ice here I just put on top. And all I'm going to do is, I don't know if you can see it, the flame burns so clean in this. It's very hard to see. Let's see if I can turn it up for you there. Okay, see, that's a dirty burn, and that's a clean burn. Can you see it there? So a dirty burn, clean burn. And that's what makes this stove really deceptive when it comes to putting it out. And I'll get to that in the next video. I'm going to splice 2 videos together. So that's the pitfalls on how to light this thing, how I light this thing. And, you know, make sure that you got something to put out fires really close. Like, I keep a fire extinguisher close, and I'm next to a snowbank. If anything goes wrong with this, you can push it into the snowbank, but don't ever blow into this once you get it going. That's another thing. Don't ever blow into the burner or have this burner in a place where lots of wind can blow in there, because I'll show you what happens. See how it just shot up there? It's that was just a very light breath too. Like, I wasn't even hardly pushing it, because I know. But a burner in wind, when it's going, is a big fireball potentially. So make sure you keep it out of the wind. Make sure it's on a flat surface. Make sure you can get it out of the way in case something goes wrong. Keep your oil cap lighter thing on there and never use it. I've never used it ever. And make sure that keeps your oil cap on. Make sure your plate at the bottom is staggered so your wicks stay where you need them. And like I said, put the centerpiece in, light a couple, put the outer piece on, put the last piece of the burner on, and then put your top on, and then you're good to go. And as you see, we're melting ice right now as we speak. And I said as before, it's on-demand heat. So if I don't think I'm getting enough heat in that ice, I can just turn it right off. And as you can see, you can probably start to see ice melt there instantaneously, because it's an instantaneous heat. There you go, see? Instantaneous. The Chinese microwave, man, I'm telling you, it's worth the $30, but be careful. It's one of the most dangerous products on Amazon. If you like these videos, give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and don't forget our Patreon down below.